Evaluating President Obama's Support by Pol242Karlovac2013.
Research questions and methods. The question that we wanted to address in our assignment was, what political issues drive the success of the Obama presidency? And our three independent variables are education, and does America's falling education standards affect President Obama's approval rating? Taxation, and does the federal government's progressive tax policies garner support for the Obama administration? And jobs, and has the status of the employment assisted President Obama's approval rating? To do this, we used the ANES 2012 dataset, and the sample size was 5,914.
Literature and rationale in terms of education, Buckley and Schneider analyzed America's public education system and through the scope of exceptionalism and how that its low ranking affects its standard in the international system. In terms of taxation, Bankman and Griffith analyzed the progressive taxation system under the liberal agenda to achieve better social programs and better stimulus spending to further the economy. In terms of jobs, economist Paul Krugman analyzes how America's unemployment rate has negatively affected the liberal agenda, however has also assisted many in need.
Variable and reliability test. An index was created to measure our dependent variable and a respondent's approval of Obama's handling of certain social factors. Each indicator asked if a respondent approved or disapproved of Obama's handling in either economics, foreign relations, healthcare, and the war in Afghanistan. The reliability test provided an alpha score of 0.8836, showing that there is a relatively high correlation between the variables, and the alpha of deleted scores show that there is not a very high significance if one item is deleted over another.
For our frequency distribution, we analyzed the support for Obama. We can see that there is an integral support for Obama at a general sense. His strong support gathers 34.9%, and if we look at the mean of 1.985, we can see that it's moderate and up in the percentage-wise. And if we look at our median, it shows that while middle has a strong amount of support, it still leans towards a stronger support than it does to a lower support.
Hypotheses and rationale. For our first hypothesis, we looked at Buckley and Schneider to hypothesize that those who support more spending on public education will be more likely to support President Obama. Our null hypothesis is that there is no relationship between the two. For our second hypothesis, we looked at Bankman and Griffith to hypothesize that those who support progressive taxation and social institutions will support President Obama's expanded tax bracket plan. Our null hypothesis is that there is no relationship between the two. For our third hypothesis, we looked at Krugman's Keynesian economics to hypothesize that those who view employment as getting better will support President Obama's Job Act and stimulus spending. Our null hypothesis is that there is no relationship between the two.
Our first crosstab analyzes support for Obama by education spending. If you look at our ANOVAs, it displays that the information gathered was not due to a sampling error. And if we look at our tau B, our relationship is moderate to strong. So this displays that people who support President Obama are more likely to support higher education spending, and people who do not support President Obama are more likely not to support spending on public education.
Our second crosstab indicates support for Obama by trust of tax spending. The ANOVA score indicates that our results were most likely not due to sampling error, and the tau B score indicates a moderately strong relationship. Those who are in strong support of Obama did not believe that the government was wasting a lot of money on tax spending, while those who showed a low support for Obama believed that the government was wasting a lot of their tax dollars on government spending.
Our final crosstab analyzes support for Obama by future unemployment. Our ANOVA score analyzes that our results are not due to any sampling errors. Our tau B indicates a strong correlation, and the people who support President Obama believe that there will be less unemployment, and people who oppose President Obama will believe that there will be higher unemployment in the future.
Our observations conclude that we had relatively high scores of association, as educational spending produced a moderately strong association, tax spending produced a moderately strong association, and future unemployment produced a tau B score of 0.30363, or a strong correlation. We believe that these three variables should be run against President Obama's approval rating and studied further. We also ruled our null hypotheses out, as X1 through X3 yielded low ANOVA scores. These are highly significant relationships that are very unlikely due to chance.
In conclusion, this survey is from the 2012 election. We must analyze where is President Obama's support. We can look at the 2014 election polling, which will be a better indicator towards President Obama's support. Obama's current approval rating is at a 41% and has suffered a 12-point decrease since the 2012 election, according to Gallup polls. What factors could have led to this? We can look at the Tea Party movement and the GOP support.